Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're jumping into something pretty wild, a transformation that's really shaken up how software gets made. It feels almost unreal, honestly. We went from everyone needs to learn to code to, well, forget code exists, and all in just 6 years. Think back to August 2019. The big push was learn Python, learn JavaScript. People spent months, years even, battling syntax, debugging, you know the drill. Fast forward, it's August 26, 2025. Andrej Karpathy, a huge name in AI, right? He coins this term vibe coding. And his advice is basically forget code exists, just forget it. That's a complete flip. So what actually happened in those 6 years? How did we get this fundamental shift? That's what this deep dive is about, vibe coding, this idea that you can build a whole application just by describing it, in plain English. And the AI writes all the code,
Yeah.
every single line. So our mission today is to unpack this whole thing, from AI helping out a bit to where we are now, where even non-technical folks can build software. We'll look at the benefits, the cool new tools, the challenges too, of course, and what it means for, well, creativity and tech going forward. Let's get into it.
It is wild how fast it happened. You've really nailed that contrast. 2019, you had to learn the code. No way around it for anything serious. But Karpathy's definition, February 6th, 2025, it wasn't just an update. It completely turned things upside down. It's not just AI helping you code faster, like suggesting things. It's the AI doing the coding based on your description. His whole thing is give in to the vibes. Basically, let the AI handle the nuts and bolts of the code.
Okay, so I'm thinking, and maybe some of you listening are too, is vibe coding just a cooler name for like AI-assisted coding? Or did Karpathy really draw a line in the sand on Feb 6? Because with AI assistance, the human was still the main coder, right? The AI was just a helper.
That's the key difference. Yeah, it's not just branding, it's a real paradigm shift. In vibe coding, the AI isn't your co-pilot anymore. It's more like the primary engineer. You're not coding with AI's help. You're describing to the AI, and it builds the code base. So we move from that whole learn-to-code era, learning syntax, structure, all that, to what's now the crucial skill, learning to prompt.
Mm.
It's about clearly telling the AI what you want, refining that vision, not sweating the semicolons. The AI is the coder. You're the architect, the director, really.
That still sounds almost like science fiction. How did we actually get here so fast? It feels like it came out of nowhere. Can you walk us through those earlier years, say 2019 to maybe 2023? What were the key pieces falling into place that made this possible?
Right, those foundational years were absolutely critical. It wasn't overnight. It really began with early AI coding tools just starting to pop up, little hints of what could be possible. But a really pivotal moment, I think, was GitHub Copilot.
Ah, yeah,
Man,
everyone started using that.
exactly. It wasn't full vibe coding, not by a long shot, but it put AI assistance right into the developer's workflow, day in, day out.
Yeah.
It made the idea of an AI partner, normal, comfortable even, and at the same time, you had this explosion in the power of large language models, GPT-3, then 4, and so on. They got incredibly good at understanding context, generating coherent, working code, not just snippets, but whole functions, sometimes small apps, from pretty simple prompts.
So the models got smarter, and the tools put them in developers' hands.
Precisely. And that led to early experiments. People started trying to just describe what they wanted in English and see what the AI came up with. These were the essential building blocks. Each one clicked into place, setting the stage for the big leap.
Okay, so the pieces were there, AI code generation getting better, Copilot normalizing AI help. But then early 2025, you mentioned Karpathy coining vibe coding on February 6th. What made that the moment, the tipping point?
I think what Karpathy did so effectively was articulate a completely new philosophy. It wasn't just observing a trend, it was defining it. His phrase, give in to the vibes and forget the code exists, that really captured the conceptual jump. Before that, even with amazing tools, the human was still fundamentally responsible for the code, checking it, owning it. Vibe coding, as he defined it, flip that. The AI becomes the primary author. You direct, it builds.
So it was about shifting the mindset, not just the tech.
Exactly. And that new mindset, that philosophy, seemed to ignite what you call the platform explosion. Almost overnight, it felt like. Tools like Replit, Cursor, Lovable, V0.
Right.
They didn't just adopt this idea. They ran with it. They built platforms around it.
Right.
They turned Karpathy's abstract concept into tools people could actually use almost immediately. It was less a gradual adoption, more like a sudden pivot by the leading edge.
This platform explosion,
Yeah.
it sounds like it really brought the forget code exists idea down to earth, made it practical super fast. So who were those pioneers? What are some of these top 10 vibe coding tools of 2025 that really show what this revolution looks like in practice, what makes them stand out.
Yeah, this is where it gets really exciting, seeing the actual tools. Take Cursor Composer. It's not just using good AI models, it's integrating really advanced ones, like Sonnet, which is known for its reasoning, right?
Huh?
And it combines that with things like Super Whisper for voice coding, highly accurate real-time voice coding.
So you can literally just talk your code into existence.
Pretty much. You can describe a complex feature, maybe dictate an algorithm, and it generates the code. It translates that natural language, even spoken, into functional software.
Wow. Okay. What else?
Then you got GitHub Copilot Workspace. It's evolved way beyond just suggesting the next line of code. Now, it's more like a whole AI-driven environment. It can understand your entire project, suggest major changes, generate huge chunks of code for new features, fix bugs, all from high-level descriptions.
Like having a whole AI engineering team on demand.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah. But maybe the most revolutionary part, especially for designers and product people, are tools like Lovable and VO0. These are specifically focused on turning design ideas, even mock-ups or descriptions, directly into UI code, like production-ready code.
So a designer could describe a user interface.
Yeah, or even feed it a design file. They could say, I need a settings page with toggles for notifications, a drop-down for themes, and a save button, and bam, it generates the React component or whatever framework you're using.
That must completely change the designer-developer handoff.
It practically eliminates it for UI generation in many cases. Designers can iterate on the actual UI build directly without waiting for a developer to translate their vision. It merges those phases. And those are just a few. You've got Apodog MCP server for APIs, Sweep for larger refactoring tasks, Continue, Windsurf editor. The ecosystem just ballooned incredibly quickly.
The capabilities sound amazing, almost like magic. But, the big question is always, does it actually work in the real world? Are we seeing real results? Is this just cool tech demos, or is it actually making a difference in how fast things get built, how companies operate? What do the numbers tell us?
Oh, the numbers are definitely telling a story.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a story of a fundamental shift, not just small improvements. We're seeing huge reductions in development time. Things that used to take weeks, like building a functional prototype. Now it can often be done in hours.
Hours? Seriously?
Seriously, we hear this consistently. Synergy Labs, for example, they put out some data showing major productivity gains across their global offices.
Yeah.
Austin, Riyadh, Doha, specifically because they adopted vibe coding practices. Their whole development cycle got faster. And it's not just speed for existing developers. It's about who can build now. The statistics show a clear trend. Vibe coding is making software development accessible to way more people without traditional coding background.
Like small business owners, artists, researchers.
Exactly. People who had ideas but lacked the technical skills or resources to build them before, now they can. It's genuinely democratizing. And this isn't just hype or company PR. There's academic research backing it up too. A study by Cambridge, UCL, and Microsoft Research actually analyzed real vibe coding sessions. They looked at the workflows, and they confirmed these huge efficiency gains. They also documented how it's changing how people work together, the new patterns emerging. So yeah, the impact is real and measurable.
Okay, that's massive. If non-technical people can build apps and prototypes take hours, that has to be changing the whole tech industry, right? What does it mean for traditional software developers? Are their jobs just disappearing or changing? And who's really benefiting the most here?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? What happens to the developers? And the consensus seems to be the role isn't disappearing, but it's changing radically. The idea of the developer just churning out lines of code, the sort of code monkey stereotype, that part is fading, being replaced by the AI. But the need for human oversight, for architectural thinking, for understanding the problem deeply, that's becoming even more important.
So developers become more like architects and quality controllers.
Exactly. They're becoming AI conductors, maybe. They guide the AI, they design the overall system, they verify the output rigorously. The key skill shifts from writing perfect syntax to prompt engineering. That's the craft of telling the AI precisely what you need, refining its output, iterating. It's about communication, critical thinking.
Okay, so prompt engineering, architecture, verification. Those are the new core skills.
Right, and high-level system design, understanding the big picture. And who benefits? Well, certainly small teams and startups. Vibe coding lets them build much faster, compete with bigger players with fewer resources. It really does level the playing field.
That makes sense. Faster iteration, lower cost.
Yeah. And we already touched on designers with tools like Lovable and V0. The whole design-to-code process is getting streamlined, less time spent manually translating mockups into code. So the bottom line is, developers aren't obsolete, but the job description is evolving fast. The skills needed are shifting away from pure coding mechanics towards guiding AI, systems thinking, and problem definition.
It all sounds incredibly powerful, transformative even, but like with any big technological leap, especially one moving this fast,
Hmm.
there have to be downsides, right? Risks, challenges. What's the unseen side of vibe coding? What are the things we need to be careful about?
Absolutely. It's crucial we talk about the risks. It's not all sunshine and roses. A major concern is security and code quality. You guarantee that the code the AI spits out is secure, that it's robust, that it doesn't have hidden vulnerabilities.
Because the AI might generate something functional but subtly flawed.
Exactly. It might look right. It might even pass basic test, but it could have security holes or edge case bugs that a human might have caught or at least considered differently. Ensuring that AI-generated code meets high standards for security and reliability is a huge ongoing challenge. And it's not just the code itself. ISACA, the IT governance group, they've been pretty vocal about this. They're warning organizations that they need to adapt their internal processes, governance, risk management, even company culture. It all needs to evolve to handle AI-driven development safely.
So it's about organizational readiness too, not just trusting the tool.
Precisely. You need new checks and balances.
Yeah.
Which leads to another risk, the hands-off problem. There's a temptation for developers or teams to just let the AI do its thing and not really scrutinize the output, just trust it blindly because it's fast.
And that sounds dangerous.
It is dangerous. That's how you end up with subtle bugs, security flaws, maybe even IP issues if the AI incorporated code it shouldn't have from its training data. So there's this constant tension. You want the speed and efficiency the AI gives you, but you absolutely need that human oversight, that verification step.
Trust but verify, basically. On steroids.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Critical thinking, deep review. They're still essential. The AI is an incredibly powerful tool, maybe the most powerful tool developers have ever had, but it's still a tool. The human craftsman still needs to inspect the final product carefully.
What an incredible 6 years it's been. From learn to code being the mantra to Andrej Karpathy saying, forget code exists, vibe coding is undeniably here, and it's changing everything about how software gets built, making it faster, more accessible, empowering more people to create. It's a huge shift.
It really is. And maybe the final thought for you listening is this. If the AI can handle the complex, tedious parts of writing code, what did that free us up to do? Maybe the real advantage now isn't how fast you can type code, but how clearly you can think about a problem, how well you can envision a solution and articulate that vision to an AI. So the question becomes, what idea have you had, maybe something that seemed too complex or too expensive to build before, that you can now bring to life just by describing it? It's worth exploring, maybe even trying out one of these tools we mentioned. The power to create is shifting, and it might be closer than you think.